Georgia Parment has served our community as a real estate agent for about 5 years, helping families with the biggest transactions of their lives. She's also served our country as a Marine for more than 2 decades, as she continues to move up the ranks, which many Marines, especially women, haven't reached. 3 News Now anchor Zach Williamson has this week's Mission Service.
This is Mission Service, sponsored by Barry Law.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Meet Lieutenant Colonel Georgia Parment. Check that. Now Colonel Georgia Parment.
I never imagined that 24 years later, I would still be serving, but also be picking up the rank of colonel.
Her military journey started in 1999 as she was preparing to graduate from York College, not sure what was next. She was on the phone with her brother, who was serving in the United States Marine Corps, and suggested she looked into the Marine Corps officer program.
The rest was history. I think 3 months later, I was at Marine Corps officer training in Quantico, Virginia.
She was first stationed in Okinawa, Japan, traveling around the world and country after, including a voluntary station in Iraq in 2008. Her active duty ended in Germany in 2018, but her service has continued. She transitioned to the reserves as a lieutenant colonel, living here in Omaha, serving as the Marine liaison to FEMA in the military support they may require in a disaster situation in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri.
Really rewarding job to have, to be able to live in your community, but also support them if, a natural disaster, happens in the area.
Now, as colonel, she'll be the operations manager for a unit in New Orleans. The rank is a remarkable achievement, even more so as a woman.
I think the latest numbers I heard was it was around 8% of, the entire Marine Corps was women. And then, of course, it's fewer when you start paring it down to officers.
Less than 2% of all Marine officers reach the rank of colonel. She now makes up the less than 0.0001% of Marine officers to be promoted to colonel as a woman.
I really look back at the women that were serving 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago, and just know that, they began laying the framework and the groundwork to get to where we are today.
When she first joined the service, specialties like infantry and artillery were off limits for women. That changed in 2016.
In my 20 plus years, the progression of, where women were back then and what they can do now is just, there's constant improvement.
Now she represents an extremely small percentage of Marines, and her commitment to service only continues to grow.
So it's just it's a huge honor, and I love to serve. I love to serve my country. So it's something that I just feel very passionately about.
Reporting in Omaha, Zach Williamson, 3 News Now.
A few extra notes. Parment met her husband, Chad, at Marine Corps officer training in 1999. And in addition to real estate and the Marine, she's a member of the Marine Corps League of Women and Marine Association, the Greater Omaha Chamber, and Women's Fund of Omaha.